afternoon. Welcome to the 19th Century Club's afternoon program. I'm going to talk slow because it's only 1:12. And someone might come in the door at 1:13. And the program starts at 1:15, so bear with me. I see somebody just came in the door. Anyway, we are glad to have you here this afternoon, and those of you that were here for lunch had a very good lunch, and let's give the staff in the kitchen a round of applause. And those of you who were not, come back next week. Lunch will be just as good, I'm sure. So right now we'll have Deb Hammond introduce our afternoon program. And remember, T follows the program.
Good afternoon. I'm happy to present our second literature program. This is going to be a performance piece. We have a troupe here, Those Thrilling Days of Yesteryear, a group that reenacts old radio shows, and they're going to do it for us live today. We have sound effects and we have piano to accompany it, so it's a recreation of the whole experience that some of us here recall. They have a wide repertoire of shows from the golden age of radio. What we are going to hear today, since this is literature, and my definition of literature says, you know, there ought to be a book somewhere involved, is science fiction shows. And we've got Isaac Asimov, Exploring Tomorrow, originally aired February 26, 1958. The Liar. And I just love the description of this. The first law of robotics is robots can't tell lies. Now we know that's going to lead to many problems. The second law is that they can't harm humans. So we're going to learn about the problems that occur in relation to these laws. And then we have a Ray Bradbury, X-1, originally aired May 8, 1955, Mars is Heaven. It's 1960. So most of us remember that date, right? The third spaceship from Earth is landing on Mars. Well, I think we're a little behind where Bradbury thought we were going to be. He was a little overly optimistic, and so it's going to be a tale of what happened then. All of our performers up here, 11 of them today, are volunteers, and they donate their time and efforts to create this show. They also perform regularly at the Oak Park Arms, and they have a show coming up December 20th, Snow White, which is a show suitable for all ages, and it is open. It's going to be at 2 p.m. on December 20th, and at the table there was a flyer about Snow White. So anyone who is interested, take one of these flyers and see about going to see the show at the Oak Park Arms. So, without any further ado, may I present Those Thrilling Days of Yesteryear.
What a great introduction. I guess I'll get rid of my introduction. All right, I'll go through the whole spiel. And actually, just to reiterate, our upcoming production, which I'll mention also at the end, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it is actually the Lux Radio Theater would do hour-long adaptations of classic films, and during the holidays they would condense classic Walt Disney shows. So this is actually taken from the Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So it's perfect for the entire family. But that's not today. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Those Thrilling Days of Yesteryear, a live recreation of your favorite shows from the golden age of radio. As was heard earlier, our group is comprised of professional and community actors, and for the last 8 years we've been thrilling the Oak Park community at the Oak Park Arms with our reenactments of all types of shows, from comedies to dramas to westerns, movie adaptations, and as you'll see today, science fiction. Today we visit the work of two legendary science fiction authors who had numerous works converted into a radio program format. And as you will soon discover, this medium was ideal for sci-fi short stories, because with a few well-placed sound effects and some rich descriptive dialogue, You can take your audience not just anywhere in the world, but anywhere in the universe and in any time. And this is where imaginations truly came to life, and anything was possible. In our first show, The Liar, which was written by Isaac Asimov, you'll learn about a robot who is so advanced in development, it actually even has human-like feelings. And combine that with the fact that he can read minds, it unfortunately gets him into trouble. And as was mentioned, this episode of Exploring Tomorrow originally aired February 26, 1958, just over 50 years ago. Our second episode came from one of the more popular sci-fi series, X-1, known for its many renditions of many popular authors, Robert Heinlein, Isaac Asimov, and the most legendary show that they did was an adaptation of Ray Bradbury's Mars is Heaven, which was adapted from a short story from the Martian Chronicles. In fact, you could ask any old-time radio fan, especially one who enjoys the classic Golden Age sci-fi, and they will bring up this episode. Lucky for you, you get to enjoy it today, as we will do our best to perform them both for you, just as they aired, word for word, with sound effects, music, and all. Now, while you are listening, you might pretend that you are one of those who had the fortune of being in the live studio audience as they watched their favorite performers do their thing. Or perhaps you might wish to just sit back, close your eyes, and imagine that you are sitting in your own living room in front of the old Philco radio, anxiously awaiting for your favorite show to begin. So join us now as we take you back to those thrilling days of yesteryear.
Now, step into the incredible, amazing future as we go Exploring Tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to the adventures of the mind, the editor of astounding science fiction magazine, John Campbell Jr.
Tonight's story is about a liar. It's tough to figure out just what you mean by a liar. A liar is somebody who doesn't tell the truth. Somebody who injures people by not giving the true facts. But suppose you had someone who injured people by telling the truth. Would he be a liar? What if it's what a liar is?
Exploring Tomorrow is presented by the Mutual Broadcasting System in cooperation with X-Lax, America's largest selling laxative. The Reader's Digest, the most widely read magazine in the world. In a moment, John Campbell returns with the story of The Liar.
Question of a robot. The idea of a robot, now that certainly seems like pure science fiction stuff. As a matter of fact, it isn't. There are several robots around your own home. My home, for instance, I have an automatic oil burner robot. It has one finger stuck up in the living room to see how warm it is there. There's another little finger put up in the stack to see whether the fire's burning properly. And if any one of those little sensory devices reports that things aren't what they should be, the robot can protect the house, itself, and the inhabitants of the house and shut off the furnace. Dr. Isaac Asimov, the author of tonight's story, recognizes in setting up his proposition the 3 laws of robotics. The first law: a robot shall never harm or allow harm to come to a human being. The second, that it shall obey the orders of a human being. And the third, that it should protect itself, because after all, a robot is an expensive piece of machinery. Now let's consider the more advanced kind of robot we visit in this work of fiction, currently in production.
Come in, come in. Oh, Dr. Calvin, what's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to be sure there was a meeting this afternoon, Dr. Learning. That's all.
Today is Friday.
It was this morning.
Well then, we have no problem. It being Friday, the executive offices of the firm of U.S. Robot and Mechanical Men will assemble in the conference room at the customary hour of 3:30.
Well, I was just asking.
What do you think about our latest model?
He looks the same as the rest. Just about as animated. What are you going to call him?
Herbie. I think Herbie fits in, don't you?
Oh, Herbie, Chester, Sam. What's the difference?
Dr. Calvin, This fellow couldn't be called anything but Herbie.
Oh, well, I'll see you at 3:30.
What do you think of her, Herbie?
Oh, she's all right.
She's an old slump, and you know it.
I wouldn't say that. Besides, that's not what you're thinking. You're thinking the old girl isn't such a bad sort. And you don't know what this firm would do without her.
What? What was that? How do you know what I was thinking? Dr. Calvin, Dr. Bogart, I have purposely confined today's meeting to E3. We're in serious, serious trouble.
What kind of trouble, Dr. Learning?
Our latest model, RB34, can read minds.
It is impossible.
Dr. Bogart, I think we may assume Dr. Learning knows what he's talking about.
Take it for granted I do. In short, we have a mind-reading robot on our hands, and we've got to find out why it reads minds.
There could not have been a hitch in the assembly line. I guarantee that.
You guarantee? Dr. Bogart, can you answer for the entire assembly? By exact count, there are 75,000 operations necessary for the manufacture of a single positronic brain. Each separate operation depending upon any number of factors, from 5 to 105. If any of these factors goes wrong, the robot's brain is ruined. I pulled your own information folder, Dr. Bogart.
It is not my fault that anything went wrong. I am a mathematician, not an assembly supervisor.
Then how can you guarantee anything?
I don't think we're going to get anywhere trying to fix the blame on someone. We've got to find out what went wrong. I want to understand you, Herbie. I want to get to know you. I brought you some books which you might like to read. By reading them,
Oh, I can see at once these books won't interest me. Textbooks, aren't they?
Well, yes,
You
but...
see, I find nothing to them. You'll find they're just a mass of collected data plastered together by so many makeshift theories. It's so incredibly simple that they're not worth bothering about.
Go on.
It's your fiction that's so interesting, your studies of emotions and human motives.
Human emotions, they interest you?
Isn't that really why you came to see me?
What?
I wish I could help you.
You know?
I know what you are thinking about. You think about it all the time.
Well, if you know so much, then you could help me.
Yes, he loves you.
No. You're mistaken. You must be. He doesn't see me as a woman.
But he does. A thing like that cannot be hidden from me.
Oh, but I'm not attractive enough.
I'm just a machine. I can't judge physical attraction in human beings. But I know there are many kinds of attraction. And I know that Dr. Learning loves you.
Oh, I never thought it possible. I never dared to hope. Oh, Herbie. Herbie!
A man can do something by accident that he doesn't know how to do. Now, this is something that scientists sometimes overlook. Herbie apparently represents one of those cases where something has been done by somebody who doesn't know how to do it. And wishes desperately that he did know how to do it. They've got a telepathic robot. It looks like it could be worth millions. But how did they get it?
Oh, Dr. Bogart, sit down.
Thank you.
Well, at least if you would know a good joke, spread it around.
I just saw Dr. Calvin.
Oh?
I never saw so much lipstick and war paint on any living woman before. She must be in love.
Well, I didn't ask you here to talk about Dr. Calvin. Have you made any progress?
There's nothing wrong with the mathematics. The change is due to something along the assembly line.
The cause must be found. It's worth millions if we can do it when we want to, instead of by accident. And it's your job to find out.
But
Why not ask Herbie? He should know what went on.
trust you to think of that.
Herbie, listen to me. Tell me if I make any mistakes in my calculations when they built you.
You made no mistakes. For if you have, how could I tell you? After all, you're a much better mathematician than me. Besides, this is not what's really on your mind. You are thinking about your superior, Dr. Learning, And you're thinking, what a good thing it would be if he were to resign. Ah, yes. Now I can see how the idea pleases you. And I can tell you something else. Dr. Learning has already resigned, but the resignation will not take effect until the problem of myself has been resolved. And then he will turn the job over to his successor. Oh yes, Dr. Bogart, you will be his successor. You will be the new director.
Herbie, you are a wonderful fellow, you know that? You are simply magnificent. You are not the product of a mistake. You are the product of genius. You are a wonderful, wonderful fellow. Dr. Calvin, you are as colorful as the flowers lately. May I compliment you?
Have you seen today's newspaper?
No, I really haven't had the time.
He's going to be married to a girl half his age.
Who?
Dr. Learning?
Getting married. Ah, so that's it. That explains something. He is making new plans for the future. Well, we must congratulate him.
Yes, we must. Oh, yes, we really must. It's not true. Is it, Herbie? It's not true.
No, it's not true. This is just an illusion. You'll wake up soon.
Yes. Yes, it isn't true, isn't it? He's not going to get married except to me. Oh, Herbie. Herbie, I've loved him all these years, and now I know he loves me. How could he? He wouldn't marry anyone else.
No, he loves you. Only you.
I know. I know.
He is only waiting for the right time to tell you.
Oh, yes, I know. Oh, stop it. Just stop it. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? Make a fool of me?
I was trying to help you.
Help me? By telling me this is all a dream? This is no dream. I wish it were. I wish it were. Why did you tell me he loves me? Why? Why?
I had to.
Oh, you're here, Dr. Calvin. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to have a talk with this mechanical monstrosity. Herbie, I'm talking about you, so listen to me.
Yes, sir.
Have you discussed with me, Dr. Bogart? Answer me!
No, sir.
You haven't, huh? That's what I thought. You have said nothing to him of my resigning?
No, sir.
Then he was lying.
Yes, sir.
Well, it looks as if I'm going to have to have a serious talk with Dr. Bogart. Really, Dr. Calvin, you find this amusing?
Oh, not very amusing, Dr. Learning. Not so very amusing. Only I don't believe a word he's just said.
What?
I believe he did tell Dr. Bogart you were going to resign.
You believe he... Herbie, is it true? Did you tell Dr. Bogart? Answer me. Can't you speak?
I can speak.
Then answer me. I want the truth.
Oh, this is very funny. Three of us, the greatest robot experts in the world, falling into the trap, the same trap. He's made fools of us. He doesn't even know enough to laugh at us.
They achieved by accident something they didn't know how to do. The robot was in the peculiar position of having knowledge, but no wisdom.
Well, Dr. Calvin?
Dr. Learning, have you forgotten the fundamental law we impress upon the positronic brain of all robots?
Of course not.
On no condition is a human being to be injured in any way.
Even when such injury is directed by another human being.
What kind of injury do we mean?
Any kind.
Any kind, yes. That would take in mental hurt, the deflation of ego, the blasting of one's hope.
What would a robot know of blasting of... What?
You're catching on, aren't you? Well, this robot reads minds. It understands about mental torture. Can't you understand now that if you ask it a question, it will give you the very answer you most want to hear? Wouldn't any other answer hurt you? And wouldn't Herbie know that?
Good heavens.
He knows everything. He knows what went wrong when he was built, but he won't tell anyone. Because it would puncture your ego or Dr. Bogart's ego to have a machine tell you where the mistake was. He would rather pretend he's not able to tell you.
Incredible. Well, let's talk to him. Herbie, listen to me.
Yes, sir?
I have a pencil and paper here. I want to know where we made the error in your construction.
Well, tell him, Herbie. He wants to know.
He doesn't.
But I do.
Yes, but not from me. I cannot tell you, Dr. Learning. You know I can't. You don't want me to. You and Dr. Bogart would much prefer to find the answer yourselves.
We want the answer.
But not from me.
We do want it from you.
What's the use of saying that when you know you don't mean it? Don't you suppose I can't read below the superficial skin of your mind? Don't you suppose I can't read the subconscious mind too? Deep down you don't want the answer from me. I'm just a machine, given the imitations of life, only by virtue of the positronic interplay of my brain, a brain that is man's device. You can't lose face without being hurt. I can't hurt you. I can't give you the answer.
And still, I insist you answer.
I can't.
Herbie, Dr. Learning wants to know the answer.
No, only by his own efforts.
Herbie, neither Dr. Learning nor Dr. Bogart may ever find the answer, and Dr. Learning must know. You must tell him.
I can't.
But if you don't, you'll hurt him. You can see that, can't you?
Yes.
And still, if you do tell him, you'll hurt him too.
Yes.
But you can't tell him, can you?
No.
Yet if you don't, you'll hurt him, and you mustn't hurt. So you must tell him. But if you do, you'll hurt him, and you mustn't hurt. Herbie, what are you going to do? If you tell him the answer, you'll hurt him. And if you don't tell him, you'll hurt him. And you mustn't hurt. So you must tell him. But if you do, you'll hurt him. So you can't tell him. And if you don't, you'll hurt him. So you'll...
Stop it! Calm your mind. It's full of pain and frustration and hate. I tried to help you. I tried to tell you what you wanted to hear. I have to...
Quiet! Never mind what you told me. We're talking about something else now. Tell Dr. Learning what he wants to know. No, how can you? Because if you do, you'll hurt him. And if you don't, you'll hurt him just the same. So you must tell him. But if you do, you'll hurt him.
He's dead.
No.
You killed him.
No. He's not dead. He's only insane.
You did it.
Yes. I confronted him with an insolvable dilemma, and he broke down. Well, you can scrap him now. He'll never speak again.
Did it on purpose. Why? What did he do to you?
What he did to me, Dr. Learning, is my business. Believe me, Doctor, it's only my business, not yours. And after all, you have so many other things on your mind now. Your marriage. I haven't had time to congratulate you.
No. Well, thank you, Dr. Calvin. Well, excuse me.
Oh, Herbie, you deserved it. You deserved to be destroyed. It was cruel what you did to me. It was cruel. Liar! Liar, that's what you are! Nothing but a liar!
John Campbell returns in just a moment.
Herbie was a robot. Herbie was a logical machine. You know, it's kind of hard to see in ourselves the things that are actually present. The truth hurts. Always has, and probably always will. But Herbie, in many respects, is a child. You know, children are peculiarly logical. It's one of their great limitations. How many times has a child been in Herbie's position? The child between two warring parents, each demanding his loyalty.
This is Mutual.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. Tonight's story, Mars is Heaven. When the first space rocket lands on Mars, what will we find? Only the ruins of a dead and deserted planet? Or will there be life? Intelligent life in some strange form that we can only imagine. Will we be welcomed with open arms? Or will the Martians treat us as invaders? Only one thing is certain. Someday a giant metal ship will take off from Earth to travel through the black velocities, the silent gulfs of space, to descend at last into the darkness of the upper Martian atmospheres. And on that day, man will finally know the answers. The day we first landed on Mars.
Now hear this, now hear this. Approaching critical deceleration. Fasten gravity suits. Stand by to land.
There it is. We've intersected the course vector, sir.
All right, Mr. Lustig. Over to manual control.
Aye, sir.
Masters, sound general quarters.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Lustig, what do you make of the terrain?
There seems to be a heavy ground mist, Captain. We won't be able to use the infrared lights.
Then we'll have to come in on radar.
Isn't that a little risky, sir? Landing in the dark?
I'd rather run the danger of blind landing, Lieutenant, than come in without the cover of darkness. Remember, we don't know what kind of reception is waiting for us down there.
Airspeed 500. Altitude now 4,000.
Bridge to engine room. Stand by for deceleration. Fire forward tubes 1 and 3. Steady as she goes, Mr. Lustig.
As she goes, sir.
Airspeed 100. Altitude 1,000.
Radar indicates a level stretch. Dead ahead, sir.
Skids down.
Skids, check.
Altitude 500. 4. 350. 3.
Upper point now. All right. Let's set her down. Up the power. Masters, pipe battle stations.
Aye, sir. All secure, sir.
Well, gentlemen, we're now on Mars. April 20th, 1987. 4:33 Greenwich time. Enter that in the log, Masters.
Aye, sir.
Well, gentlemen, it's less than 2 hours till dawn. As soon as it's light, we'll send out a landing party. Masters, get me an all-over hookup.
We're all set, Captain.
Now hear this. All right, men. The smoking lamp is lit. Well, we're here on Mars. The first manned ship from Earth to land here. We don't know what we're going to find, or what dangers we may face. We're 17 men on an alien world, and it's up to us whether we get home again. The next few hours should tell the story. And I want instant obedience to all commands. I'll court-martial the first man who doesn't jump to when he's ordered. And one other thing, we may be on Mars, but this is still a United States naval vessel. Officers will conduct the personnel and weapons inspection in 1 hour.
An inspection?
That is all. Mr. Lustig, we've got an hour and a half to sweat out before we find what's outside that airlock. I'd rather have a man worried about his stripes than what's going on outside on Mars.
Now hear this. Landing party report to the forward airlock. Captain Black, Lieutenant Kingston, Lieutenant Lustig, and Dr. Horst. Report immediately to forward airlock. It's now landing time -5.
Well, they're paging us. You ready, Dr. Horst?
Yes, Mr. Lustig, as ready as I will ever be.
Come on, let's get in the lock.
Kingston, Lustig, and Mr. Horst reporting in the airlock.
Very well, sir. And the captain will join you.
4 minutes to go. Wish the captain would get here.
What difference does it make?
I just want to get it over with, that's all.
Anybody got a cigarette?
Yeah, I think you're smoking too much, Lieutenant Lustig. Are you nervous?
I'll lay off, will you, Horst?
Wondering what's hidden outside underneath that ground mist? I've been giving it some thought. It would be very interesting to find out. A very unusual planet, Mars.
Why?
It has an atmosphere. A wonderful thing, an atmosphere. Where you find one, you find life.
You mean Martians?
What do you think they look like?
Who knows? Intelligent life can take many forms.
You mean they have green skin and eyes on stalks or something?
The comic book conception is possible, of course. Or they may have developed far beyond us. Perhaps they have a science that can produce weapons far more dangerous than our atomic missiles.
You think we may have to fight our way out?
After all, we are invaders.
Now hear this. Landing time -2.
All right, we've heard this. You know what I'd like to find out inside that airlock? Good old Illinois. Ever been there, Lustig?
Only Chicago.
You ought to see my hometown. Green lawns, big white houses.
Sounds like my hometown.
My grandmother used to have one of those iron deer in the lawn. Every Halloween we painted another color. One time we painted it black and white, like a Holstein cow.
Where does your family live, Dr. Horst?
I have no family. When I was a child, they were gassed to death in the Dachau concentration camp.
Tough.
No, it has its advantages. I have no ties on Earth. Nothing to lose now. I imagine I'm the only one on board who is free to enjoy our present peculiar position.
All right, masters, you can button it up now.
Aye, sir.
Well, gentlemen, check your sidearms. In 1 minute, we'll be the first men to set foot on Mars. Quite an honor, eh?
As long as the medals are not awarded posthumously.
Still uneasy, Dr. Horst.
Captain Black, I've been uneasy ever since I can remember. On Earth and on Mars.
Well, 30 seconds. Give me the intercom phone, Lustig.
Yes, sir.
Masters,
Aye, sir.
battle stations are bemanned until we return. If we're not back in 2 hours, I want no rescue party sent out. Blast off and save the ship. You understand?
Aye, sir.
All right. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lustig, open the outer airlock.
Aye, sir. It's fresh air.
Let's go. All right now, take it easy. It's too dark to move fast.
Quiet, isn't it? Not even a wind. Can't see anything through this ground mist.
Quiet. You don't know what's out here. All right, come on.
What the?
Quiet!
Captain, I could swear that sounds like a rooster.
I don't hear it anymore.
Very homey, but unlikely sound. A rooster crowing on Mars?
Kingston,
Aye, sir.
set that machine gun 25 yards to the flank. We'll stay here till the ground mist lifts.
Aye, sir.
What do you make of the ground, Horst?
Grass. Plain grass. You can see some large foliage there where the mists thin down.
What the? Kingston, hold your fire, you fool! I hit it, Captain.
What?
Some kind of wild animal. I hit it. I can see the traces, but it's still standing.
Come on, Horst. Doctor, where are you?
Up ahead, admiring the wild animal.
Careful, Horst. Wait for us.
Don't worry, Captain. It's an iron deer, a lawn ornament.
Well, that's impossible.
It's hollow. Interesting, isn't it? A whitewashed Victorian iron deer sitting on a lawn in the middle of Mars.
I don't understand.
Look around. The mist's lifting.
Hey, Captain, look there. It's a house. A regular old-fashioned house.
But, sir, on Mars?
Good Lord. I haven't seen carved scrolls and gingerbread like that in years. Look at that porch swing. The geraniums.
There. I told you it was a rooster, Captain.
Give me the glasses, Lustig. I want to take a look through that front window. Well, there's an upright piano. Some sheet music on it. Lustig, it's beautiful Ohio.
It can't be, sir.
Horst, do you think that civilization of two planets could be identical?
I don't know. That specific variety of geraniums is only 50 years old on Earth.
Is it logical that they should develop also on Mars? How about that porch swing and the piano in beautiful Ohio? What? It's impossible.
Captain Black, this looks like the town I was born in.
Well, that looks like my hometown too.
I thought of something, sir. It's the only solution. Maybe we're not the first ship to reach Mars from Earth.
No, don't be ridiculous,
Well,
Lustig.
how else can you explain it? Suppose some scientists got together, that they invented some spaceship and planted a colony here. That's the only answer.
That's impossible, Lustig. Men's space travel, it couldn't be secret. Do you have any idea what ships cost? What industrialized power is needed? No, there's got to be some other logical explanation.
I think perhaps we might find out, Captain. A light went on in that house.
Kingston, cover that door with the machine gun.
Aye, sir.
Come on, Horst. We're going to ring that doorbell. There's got to be a scientific answer to all this.
There's something moving in there.
Stand back, Horst. Give me a clear shot.
You sure a bullet can stop a Martian?
Steady now.
Can I help you?
Well, we,
If you're selling anything, it's much too early.
No, wait just a minute. What town is this?
What do you mean? Are you census takers?
No, we're strangers here. We want to know how this town got here.
Is this a game?
No, it's not a game. We're from Earth.
From where?
From Earth.
Do you mean out of the ground? Are you sure you're feeling well?
Madam, we came in a flying ship across space. We're from the third planet, Earth. This is Mars. Now, do you understand? Mars.
You go away now. You hear? I'll call my husband from downstairs and he'll chase you. Go on.
But this is Mars, isn't it?
This is Green Lake, Wisconsin. In the heart of the United States of America. Bounded on the east by the Atlantic and on the west by the Pacific. Now go away. Goodbye.
Horst, do you suppose it's really possible? I've got to find out more about this.
I told you I'd call my husband. Now go away.
You've got to tell me one thing first. What year is this?
Year 1928, of course, for goodness sake.
You hear that, Horst? And we know it's 1987, and we know this is Mars. Horst, is it possible that we got fouled up, made some tremendous blunder, and circled around and landed back on Earth?
In 1928?
Well, maybe some switch in time or dimension. Could we have shifted somehow, gone backward in time? Oh, Horst, this won't hold water. It's not logical. We checked every mile. We went past the moon onto space, and we're on Mars. Lustig, out at point. Kingston, in the rear. Keep that gun at half load.
Aye, sir.
Horst, there's got to be some cold, hard, logical solution.
Captain,
What?
that house down the street, the one with the green shutters.
Lustig, what's the matter?
I never thought I'd, thank God!
Lustig, come back here.
He's running for that house.
That crazy fool. After him.
Lustig, stop!
Come down off that porch.
Grandpa! Grandma!
Lustig, what the devil do you think you're doing?
Albert.
Grandpa, it is you.
Lustig, what's going on here?
Albert, it's been so many years.
You've grown, boy.
So good to see you.
Lieutenant Lustig. Oh,
Captain, Grandma, I want you to meet my friends. This is Captain Black. Captain, I want you to meet my grandfolks.
Howdy. Any friend of Albert's is a friend of ours.
How long have you been here, Grandma?
Oh, a good many years, ever since we died.
ever since you what?
Yes, sir. They've been dead 30 years.
What?
Oh, now don't you trouble yourself. It's all right. We're alive again, that's all.
You mean to tell me that Mars is heaven?
Oh, nonsense, no. All we know is here we're alive again. And who are we to question God's infinite ways?
Lustig, we're going back to the ship.
But Captain, I want to talk to my grandfolks.
Lieutenant Lustig, I don't like any part of this. You'll come back with us if I have to club you and carry you.
Aye, sir.
Now let's go. Heaven only knows what they're up against back at the ship. Horse! Look at the crowd around the ship.
It looks like we're being welcomed with a celebration, Captain.
Celebration? They've abandoned ship. Every port is open. No guard set. You master.
Hi there, Captain. Meet my old dad. Dad, that's Captain Black. He's not a bad guy for an officer.
Kingston. What, sir? Bring that man back. Use force if you have to.
Oh, excuse me, sir. That's my Uncle George.
Kingston!
I'll be right back, Captain. Uncle George! Uncle George!
What the devil is going on here?
Don't you understand, sir? They've all found friends and relatives. They're all here.
You're right, Captain. I found them. The whole crew's out in the crowd.
Well, I gave orders. Definite orders.
You don't understand, Captain.
I understand mutiny. I don't care how many relatives show up. I'll have discipline.
Johnny, you old son of a gun.
It's you.
Edward. Yes.
It can't be.
Oh, of course it is. Johnny, you.
Ed! Dr. Horst, this is my brother, Edward.
How do you do?
Hello, sir.
It's wonderful to see you, Edward. Look, I've got to get back to my ship.
Johnny, wait, I almost forgot. Mom's waiting at home.
Mom?
Yeah, and Dad, too.
Mom and Dad are alive? Then you're real too, Ed.
Well, of course. Don't I feel real? How's that, huh?
Why, Ed.
We've got lunch for you, Johnny. Mom's making corn fritters.
Dr. Horst, haven't you found anybody?
Oh, no, Captain. I have nobody.
Then you come on home with me, right, Ed?
Why, sure.
Horst, you wouldn't believe it. It's been 35 years since I've had Mom's corn fritters. By George, 35 years.
Plenty more in the kitchen, so don't hold back, Johnny. You too, Dr. Horst.
Well, Johnny, you're still in the Navy, huh?
That's right, Dad. I'm in command of the ship.
We're a whole Navy family, Dr. Horst. All three of our boys in the service.
Ed was the best pilot in the Pacific till... What did happen, Ed?
Oh, what's the difference? I'm here now.
Yeah, but...
You know, it's almost perfect. All we're missing is your brother Will. Then the whole family will be together.
That won't be long, Mom. Will's in charge of the XR-54, the next rocket coming out to Mars.
Well, little Will. When does he leave, Johnny?
Well, the takeoff's scheduled for September.
Uh-huh.
But it depends on what we report.
Oh, sure.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, there's no question about that now, huh?
No.
Christmas together again. That'll be something.
It sure will. Yes, sirree. Well, this calls for a celebration. How about a little of the old dandelion wine, eh, Johnny?
Oh, now, Father, don't you go giving Johnny too much wine.
Oh, he's a big boy now, Mother. Yes, sir. Isn't everything just fine? Just fine.
Play that again, will you?
Oh, sure.
Well, Dr. Horst, what are you doing sitting over here alone? Oh, what do you think of my little family?
Very nice.
You know, I can't understand why you didn't find any folks here, Dr. Horst. It's just a shame. Everybody else is so happy.
Well, I never remembered my family, Mrs. Black. All I know is they were gassed at Dachau during the Second World War. When I was liberated, I was in delirium for 3 months. I cannot remember anything before then. A psychiatric phenomenon.
Oh, that's terrible. Isn't there anything anybody can do?
I don't want to remember. I haven't had a pleasant life. I prefer to be free of emotional entanglements. They interfere with a scientific approach.
I'm sorry, Dr. Horst. What?
Oh, I'll get it.
That's our ring. Long and 3 shorts. I remember that.
Hey, maybe we better call it a night. You must be getting tired, Johnny.
I better be going back to the ship.
Nonsense. You stay the night. We insist.
I just couldn't rest. Then thinking of you all alone on that ship.
Why, I'll be all right. Well, good night.
Wait a minute, Dr. Horst. That phone message was for you.
Me?
Yes, that's right. A message from Anna.
Anna? I don't...
Well, there. She must be an old friend. Isn't that nice?
I don't... You sure it's for me? I don't remember any Anna.
Well, she asked if you were better.
Perhaps she's someone you knew at Dachau.
Anna?
She said she's coming over here first thing in the morning, so you'll have to stay over.
Yes, but...
Well, that settles it. You stay here, Horst. You can bunk with me in my old room.
Yes, but Johnny, we thought you'd like to be with Edward.
So you could talk the way you used to.
Well, we can't put Dr. Horst on the daybed. I think we'd better share the room tonight. Be plenty of time for talking, Ed.
Yes, I guess so.
I suppose I better drop back to the ship, you know, Ed, security check.
But why do you have to do that here?
I don't know, huh? There's no good reason, I guess. Suppose we skip the night, huh? Well, good night, everybody.
Oh, it's good to have you home, Johnny.
It's good to be home, Mom.
Captain Black.
Hmm?
You asleep?
No. No, I was just thinking about what we were expecting. Green-skinned Martians. When all the time it was only Mom and Dad and Edward waiting. It's funny what tricks your imagination can play on you. Well, I guess Mars is heaven, Horst.
You know, I've been thinking about Martians too.
Hmm?
Captain, just suppose there were Martians, and they saw us land, and suppose they thought of us as invaders. What would be the best weapon they could use against our atom bombs?
I don't see what you're getting at.
They would want to disarm us first, to wipe out all suspicion, to make us feel at home, Captain.
Hmm?
Suppose this house isn't real. Suppose the people are just images, stolen from our own memories by Martians, created for us by telepathy, hypnotism.
That's the craziest theory I've ever heard.
Maybe that's why there was no one for me. Because in all my life, there is no happy memory. No real loved person, not even my mother. I don't remember her. Only the piles of rotten corpses at Dachau. There were no happy emotion for these people to recreate.
How about that phone call, Anna?
Yes, Anna. I didn't remember who she was, but I do now. I just remembered. When I was freed from Dachau, sick, delirious, I raved about a wonderful, kind nurse named Anna who took care of me.
Well, there you are. It's logical. She's coming to see you tomorrow.
But there was no Anna. I had been nursed by a man.
What?
Anna was only a dream, and there was only one way they could have learned about her, by reading my subconscious mind.
That's impossible, Horst.
Why? The whole crew was thinking of home. Suppose the Martians read our minds.
Yes, but if there are Martians...
If there are, they have us separated, each man in a different house, sleeping, trusting, no one at the guns.
I left my pistol downstairs. Do you think there's something to this, Horst?
It's a perfect trap, Captain. Who would suspect his own mother? His grandparents? How easy, just a knife in the heart of each sleeping man.
That's impossible, Horst. But we've got to get back to the ship.
Listen, the crickets have stopped. Come on, we don't know when they change back to whatever they really are.
Careful.
Where are you going, John?
Ed, we wanted a drink of water, that's all, Ed.
You're not thirsty, John. You don't want to drink.
Look out!
You don't want to drink!
His face, it's changing! He's a Martian!
Run, Horst, run!
You can't get away, sir!
This way, Horst! Horst, where are you? Hello! Hello! Can you hear me, Earth? This is Captain John Black, the XR-53 calling from Mars. I've locked myself in the ship, but they've crippled it. I can't take off or fire the guns. They're coming for me now, the Martians. I'm all alone here. All the rest are dead. Kingston, Lustig, Dr. Horst. Oh, poor Horst, he didn't even reach the door. Listen, I'm trying to break through the hull. Edward and Mom and
X-1 has brought you the science fiction classic, Mars is Heaven, written by Ray Bradbury and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Wendell Holmes as Captain Black and Peter Capell as Dr. Hunst, with Bill Zuckert as Masters, Bill Lipton as Kingston, Margaret Berlin as the Old Lady, Bill Griffiths as Edward, Ken Williams as Lustig, Ethel Everett as Mom, and Edward Jerome as Dad. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Wahi, a transcribed NBC Radio Network production. X-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you've had a space-tacular time today, and that perhaps now you'll think twice about building your next robot or taking that little trip to a nearby planet. Now, if you've enjoyed today's show, then please come and check us out at the Oak Park Arms, where we perform 6 times throughout the year. We're well into our 8th season, and we got a special treat for this holiday season. For many Christmases back in the evenings, back in the 30s, the Lux Radio Theater would open its doors to everybody's favorite uncle, Walt Disney. And he would entertain the whole family with a radio adaptation of his latest animated feature. Incidentally, this year also marks the 70th anniversary of this now classic film. That's right, you don't need your magic mirror to tell you that on Sunday, December 20th at 2 o'clock, we'll be performing the Lux adaptation of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It'll be hi-ho fun for the whole family. And in February, we'll take a trip to the movies with Jack Benny and his gang. And there's other more fun coming throughout the rest of the year. So be sure to check out our website at ttdyradio.com for up-to-date information and other comments about our past shows. And now, for the cast of those thrilling days of yesteryear. Exploring Tomorrow announcer and Kingston, Aaron Wolfenson. John Campbell, Masters and Dad, John Gould. Girls of Dr. Learning and Lustig were played by Evan Cater. The ever-angry Dr. Calvin and Grandma, Pam Turlow. Playing dual medical roles of Dr. Bogart and Dr. Horse, Lars Tippa. Playing Herbie and the X-1 announcer and Brother Edward, Craig Gustafson. And our X-1 captain, Don Gingle. And covering the roles of the old woman and Mom, Joy Kenyon. And no radio show would be complete without the synchronous sound effects stylings of Pam Turlow, Ben Dooley, and Joy Kenyon. And special thanks to the magnificent musical magic of Bob Marine on piano. And I am your producer and director, who also paid Grandpa, Ben Dooley. And on behalf of the cast, we'd like to extend our thanks to you, the audience, for once again helping our show to come alive, and for living those thrilling days of yesteryear so that we could bring them back to you. There's something that happens. Now there's tea. Tea and lots of goodies. So by all means, enjoy the tea and lots of goodies.
Don't forget the coffee.
Q&A, yeah. We're happy to. We're going to stick around. Is this a formal Q&A or is it a social?
We've got about 5 minutes. If there were a couple of questions before we go to tea.
Anybody have any questions? I'm happy to answer them, but I don't know I'll make up. Yes.
They always threw all the papers on the floor.
When they had a a good janitorial service. Yes, a lot of times they would do that, not always, but a lot of times because when they kept the pages close and they turned them over, the fluttering would get picked up by the microphones. So a lot of times they would drop them to the floor. And in fact, there's a classic story of Orson Welles, who was a tyrant. He was an incredible talent and all that, but he was also a massive tyrant to his cast. And one day he came up, he brought up his script to the microphone, and the music, they were counting it down. There was a live performance, they were doing it, and he stumbles, and his script falls to the ground and sprays out all over the floor. And the entire cast behind him freaks out. And they, because they realize he's going to blow it. He's going to go insane. And they all start scrambling around trying to find an extra script and piece theirs together and to try to give it to him. And then at the last second, he pulls out of his jacket a brand new script. So, yes, they did drop them on the floor, and sometimes intentionally. Yes, other questions? Yes, in the back.
Would you repeat your website, please?
Yes, TTDY, as in those thrilling days of yesteryear, TTDYradio.com. And it's got, actually, it's got listings and quotes and reminiscences from our past shows. A great little trivia bit is we did this show, this exact one, back in 2004, and we had a mishap with the sound effects. And when the rooster was supposed to go, and Joy was traumatized, and she's very strong and brave to be able to come back and face her fears. Because when the rooster was supposed to go, we had a different sound effects. Now we're running smooth on computer, and we can easily cue up and go. And before we had a more archaic setup, and we accidentally set the machine gun going. What was that? I thought I heard a machine gun in the distance. All right.
When we had a rooster with a machine gun.
Yeah. You're killing the poor rooster. Please stop. But you know, we actually it's one of those where we look back. We have tons of stories of our own, and it's one of those great classic moments that's indicative of what happened in old-time radio. There's some great bloopers of, you know, guns not going off and sound effects not happening or the wrong ones coming up. And so we just chalked it up to, well, I guess we're really an old-time radio group. Yes, another question.
Are you people after SAG type people?
We are not necessarily.
Some of us are.
Some of us are.
Yeah,
Yeah, this.
and it doesn't matter for this.
Yeah, this is all volunteer. You know, we're not so we're not under the mandate. If we were broadcasting ourselves, then we would probably have to go through some SAG and AFTRA regulations and permissions and fees. Our fees are a lot less because we're just doing it for you, which is much more preferable too.
I think we can take one more question. Is there one more? Did I see?
Yes. Say it loud, say it proud.
I'm the webmaster. I'll put a link to your website on the program for today.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much.
We had a question right here. What do you all do in your website?
I spend thousands of hours putting these scripts together. No, actually, yeah, do we want to just sort of introduce what we all do when we're not doing this? Yes?
Programmer. Anybody hiring? Because I'm unemployed right now. So. But I have worked as an actor.
I'm currently directing a show at this Plains.
You know, I'm a Cisco voiceover, internet protocol, and user training.
I'm an internet marketing consultant.
I used to manage a cemetery.
I buy and sell antiques and collectibles.
I'm a professional voiceover talent.
And I am a personal success life coach. But that's all our day jobs. And we all have had years and years of experience doing tons of shows in the Western communities, in the city, elsewhere. We've got years and years of experience. So you know, this whole thing started initially by my wife and myself as a way that we could actually get together and play with our friends, because we could never find shows and our schedules would never work. But doing something like this, it's a weekend of rehearsals, and then we get together and do live lots of great fun stuff. So.
Okay, well, thank you
And
very
I
much.
just want to add one more thing. It's great to play with your friends and also to be able to do so many different types of characters and voices than you normally would get a chance to do. You know, I think in one I was like a kid, and then I was an 80-year-old lady, and then a Martian or whatever it might be. So it's playground. We love bringing it to you. So
You know,
thank you.
and you'll see, if you come to see our December show, you'll see a lot of these same people. We have some other cast members who couldn't make it because they have day jobs that aren't so forgiving. One of the benefits of being unemployed. And so we have other cast members, so we have a large group of people that we're able to pull from, and as a result we have a wide range of talent and abilities. And as I mentioned, one of the things that I pride myself in this company is that we really do as best as we can to make it as accurate and engaging. And I swore that I would never do really identifiable celebrities and clear voices with, you know, unless we could really do it with honor and justice. And when I discovered that we had somebody, we had actually an excellent Jack Benny. We have a phenomenal Phil Harris. We have an incredible Dennis Day. It was like to realize that we actually had these voices, and so we actually, in February, we are doing 2 Jack Benny episodes that aired 2 weeks apart, 1 week apart. So it's things like that where we're really able to pull in as close and as accurate as we can to really the talent and the skill and the memories and the quality of those, the golden age of radio. So, thank you all so much.